As you can tell by the cone, this month didn't go as well as expected. So I started my financial journey because Luke here had emergency surgery 2 years ago, and I couldn't afford the surgery that he needed. Luckily, Brian was able to do so, but essentially that was the catalyst of me starting my debt-free journey, because I didn't want to have to put my dogs through a life or death situation because I couldn't handle, he's walking away, because I couldn't handle my finances. Since then, I've actually started not only my own personal emergency fund, but an emergency fund for the dogs. And I've never talked about how much money I've had in my emergency funds because I didn't want that to influence you guys, because we all have, you know, a different life. We all have different needs. We all have different incomes. So I didn't want to tell you guys I had a certain amount of money in my emergency fund and have you guys think that that's exactly what you needed, even though maybe it may take you longer to put aside that type of money than it did for me, therefore slowing down your journey to financial freedom. Obviously, I'm going to talk about it now because now my emergency fund for the dogs is completely wiped out. Luke was in and out of the vet's office and then ended up having to get emergency surgery for absolutely no fucking reason, it ended up turning out. They thought through x-rays and ultrasounds that he had some kind of mass either on his intestines or inside his intestines. So they opened it up and guess what? There wasn't anything there but inflammation of the intestine. So I opened up my dog for no fucking reason, which is more upsetting to me than spending that money, but that's essentially what has happened. So basically, I guess he has some kind of food allergy that caused this whole situation, but we're going to basically like a dog nutritionist tomorrow for both the dogs, so we can figure out how to do that or like how to prevent the situation from happening again. But obviously surgery and a night in the ER and 2 days at the vet's office isn't cheap. I put aside $5,000 for the dog's emergency fund. And I decided on $5,000 because that is exactly how much his emergency surgery was, all included with everything, 2 years ago. I have never been a fan of Dave Ramsey's $1,000 emergency fund. I don't know where in the country you live that an emergency is only worth $1,000, but in my life, in the past 2 years, emergencies have been $2,000 plus. I am glad I listened to my instinct, because if I only had put aside $1,000, obviously that was not even anywhere close to what he needed, and then I would have had to pull out of my regular checking account to make sure he was taken care of. So I don't know what to tell you about the emergency fund, people. You know your life best. You know, obviously, maybe if you don't have kids, if you don't have dogs, if you don't own a house and are able to get the management to fix things around the house, maybe $1,000 emergency fund is perfect for you. For me, that's obviously not realistic. I had $5,000 put aside for the dogs. I have $5,000 put aside for me. Do what makes you comfortable. You guys are always asking me questions like, how much do I put aside for emergency fund? $1,000 seems too little. Okay, if $1,000 seems too little for you, put aside more. Put aside a large enough amount of money that will make you feel comfortable. That being said, I don't want you spending months and months and months saving up your emergency fund, because that's just preventing you from becoming debt-free. I do have pet insurance. Brian and I got pet insurance for the dogs, which he pays for right after his first surgery. That being said, pet insurance isn't the same as human health insurance, where you get your deductible added immediately. for pet insurance, you have to pay everything out of pocket first, and then you turn in your receipts, and then they'll send you money back, hopefully. Someone told me today that their pet insurance doesn't cover surgery, so I'm hoping mine does. I always thought it did, so I guess we'll see in a month or so. But that's how it is. So even though I do have pet insurance, having an emergency fund was still very, very important, because I still wanted to be able to afford the surgery with or without the insurance, just in case it didn't cover it. Honestly, this month was just very, very stressful financially, because there's a lot of things I needed to take care of that I didn't expect. I actually made more money this month than last month, but it felt more suffocating. Not only did we have to recently deal with this, but also we moved into our new space, so I had to furnish it, because now we have an extra room and a huge balcony or patio. So we're just trying to get that done, which is obviously time consuming and expensive. And then if you guys remember, in, I think it was the goals that I wanted to achieve in 2019, I'm launching my podcast on July 3rd. So now it's paying for the photographer, paying for, you know, shoots for the artwork and for promotion. So all of this is just, I feel like actually April, May, June are historically really tough months financially for me. Yeah, it's been a lot to deal with this month, and I just got a notice that my healthcare might be canceled, because last year I didn't work enough commercial work to be able to qualify for the health insurance that I've been having. So it's just a lot to handle right now. In terms of, I'm like getting a headache talking about it. In terms of student loans, I contributed $6,000 to that. I have $47,224.73 in my student loan debt. Hopefully, even if we have more bumps along the year and I don't make as much money as I have been over the past couple months, definitely by the end of the year, by December, I will be debt free. I will be debt free. Oh my God, I'm just realizing that I'm wearing the exact same shirt in this video as I did in my last video. See, I'm just like, I am just all over the place right now. I've actually been over on my budget for the past 2 months. And again, that's okay, because I always leave a nice little cushion in my checking account just in case I don't get paid on time, just in case that's actually it, that I don't get paid on time. But I just wanted to let you guys know that, because you will see a lot of red in my budget for the past couple months. But just know that I'm still okay, because again, I had my emergency fund for the dogs. I leave a really good cushion in my checking every month, so I never have a zero balance in my checking account. And that's again because I freelance and I don't know when I'm gonna get paid next. And I haven't worked in 2 months, which I talked about last budget video, but now it's finally picking up. So I'm hoping by July everything will be back to normal and we can go ahead full steam with things that we've been doing for the past year and a half. So I guess the moral of this video specifically is to say that $1,000 emergency fund is bullshit. I follow Dave Ramsey, but I also know my lifestyle better than he does, and for me, that just didn't make me comfortable, and I proved my feelings correct this past week. So if you feel that an emergency fund is $1,000 is not enough, then build that emergency fund to what you feel comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, obviously the goal is to be debt-free and to pay off all of your debts with like a really strong intensity and get rid of it as quickly as possible. But if you're worried that one day you'll wake up and have an emergency that not only is more than $1,000, but you end up not having the balance of that in your account, you're going to be scared to throw all of that money at a debt. So be realistic about it. Just because I saved $5,000 for my dogs doesn't mean that you have to do that. be realistic about what might be considered an emergency in your life, okay? Again, I know from experience that dog surgery is not fucking cheap. It tends to be $5,000 at least, so that's what I saved. Maybe if you have a family member who is sick and you want to be able to jump on a plane and visit them like that, save enough for a round trip ticket to wherever you are. If you just bought a house and it needs some repairing and you feel like maybe your heater, your air conditioning, and your water might need to be changed sometime in the near future, then save up for that. A lot of people would call those sinking funds, I guess, but for me, they're emergencies because you need to make those decisions in a snap, and sometimes you just don't have the time to wait for a sinking fund. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Again, it's your life. You know your life best. So tailor your emergency fund, tailor your budget to what you think is best for yourself. I'm hoping that the month of June will be a little bit less stressful financially and I can get my budget back on track. But that's life, right? And that's why I post these videos, so you guys know the reality is of achieving financial freedom is never easy. But we still push as hard as we can, as fast as we can, because ultimately, at the end of the day, once you're financially free, things like dog emergencies don't seem like that big of a deal anymore. I'm Asia Dang. I'm hoping July's budget video is more promising and happier. So subscribe to my channel and stay tuned if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.